Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have a Yamaha acoustic on the bench today. We are installing a pickup in it. Let's get to work. So there's our victim. It's just a regular run-of-the-mill Yamaha, nothing special, nothing fancy, but it's a nice little guitar. It's got some resonance. Not a bad guitar. But the guy wants electric. He wants to be able to plug into an amp. It's a nice mod to have if your guitar doesn't have it. That's the parts of choice. Our bags. That's what I like to use. That's what we're going to put in this. It's a relatively simple system. There is some modification required. You got to drill a hole here to put the pickup underneath the saddle. And back here, we need to make that hole bigger. How much bigger? Not sure yet. Off camera, I measured it and I already put a drill bit and kind of cleaned it out a little bit because there was some chip out on the inside that I could see with a mirror and a flashlight. So just to make sure that we have enough threads on this system, which they're pretty good at this. This is a really good one. So we're going to check into that. The first thing we're going to do is get the strings off it, get the parts in a box where we can save them. And go to town. Yeah. So you know the drill. These strings are gacked. They need to be changed. We're going to do a full cleanup, setup. We're going to clean the fretboard. We're going to polish the frets. We're going to do everything. This guitar is going to get everything. We're going to do the install and then all of that stuff too. I'm going to pause quickly while I de-string just to save some video time. Hang in there. So pretty basic stuff. Get the strings off. We have to drill a hole right down in here where the saddle goes. And get some idea. The string goes across right about here. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole right in the corner of the saddle slot in the bridge. Right through down into the body. Now, it feels like there's a piece of bracing right there, but I won't know until we actually get. It might come down right on the side of it. That's not the end of the world. I think if by feeling it, it seems like I'm probably going to go right down next to that piece of bracing. I'm going to try to cheat in slightly, just enough to get the pickup in and flop over. And what does that look like? Well, I'll show you. So here's our output. That goes back here. You have to fish it through, sort of. You run a wire through there and a jack. And then you have to do that a couple of times because it takes getting some spacing correct here because you want it flush with the strap button that screws on. That's the finish ring. We have a 9-volt battery connection and a little 9-volt battery pocket that we will tuck in up here out of the way. And you got a volume. This one has a volume. It kind of goes up in there like so that you can reach in and hit your volume here. Tone, everything else has to be adjusted on your amp. Pretty basic and straightforward system. This is the actual pickup. All right, so we drill the hole and then we pop this up through and it lays down in there just like so, and then the saddle goes right on top of that. And with any little bit of luck, we'll be able to play through an amplifier. It doesn't come with directions. You can go to a website and pull up the directions that way. That's the way almost everything is nowadays. So what we're going to do first is find out where we're at with the hole in the back. And you don't want it to be oversized for the 0.47, 0.467. We're going to say 0.475. You want it to be a little bigger than that. I wonder what 0.475 is. (31/64). So I have to go up 8 sizes. And the way we do that, you can use a reamer, but when you got to go up that big, I have a special set of drill bits. They go up in very small increments. And the trick is that I have found what works the best is, let's get down here where we're on the business end of what's happening, which is right here. Down a little farther, right here. All right. And so that size I already did. Now, you can use a reamer, but the problem with a reamer is you have to do both sides. This side's easy, you can get at it, but you'll never be able to get a reamer in from the other side and turn it because it's an acoustic and it's an enclosed area. So what I do, and I can't wait for all the trolls, is go to the next size. So from 11/32, I go up to 23/64. So it goes up in small increments. Don't go jamming the drill bit in there right away. Do it by hand. A little bit by hand. You will minimize your chip out. See? And once you get it started a little bit, you will minimize your chip out. Now you're only going up maybe a half a millimeter at a time. Have your drill on slow and don't give it the full gas. If it catches, back up. Let the drill bit pull in. Follow? So I got about 6 more of those to do until I get the hole big enough. You can't just jump up to the size that you want because you're going from that size to that size to be able to accept that thing. All right. So I'm not going to show that entire gory procedure. I'm going to slowly but surely work my way up to it, and I'll be right back. So moving right along, and the elapsed time was probably 20 minutes because you go really, really slow and you get it right to where that thing fits in there nice and smoothly because you have to be able to pull it through from the other side. I'm going to show you the trick to use for that. And well, that's when you have to test fit it, pull it out, test fit it, pull it out. You can get your best guess, but usually it takes a couple of tries before you get it exactly where you want it and everything is going to look good. The beauty ring will go on, which also doubles as a strap button for your guitar strap. And if you go slow, you're going to get no chip out. It'll be a nice clean cut, just like that. And the next step is right here. And I want to figure out, you can see right there where the string goes over, so that's about there. That's pretty neat. I think I'm going to have just enough room to cheat over, because just feeling where it is, it feels like I'm going to miss it. Let's see what size drill bit we want to use for that. And you want big enough that this, that the pickup wire can go through, the actual pickup go through without being, constricted. You want it to pull through easily and fold over because that's where it's going to live. And once your saddle goes in, it holds it in place. So, same as if you're looking for a piece of hardware, you want to get a drill bit that's just a little bit bigger than that. And I think this is what we're going to go with. I could go smaller, but I don't think so. I think smaller is going to make it hard to push it through, and I don't want that. I really want it to come through easily. And the next part of the operation. I'm not going to use that one because it's wider than the saddle pocket. Yeah, that one's better. The next size smaller. Yikes. That should be that. It went down right next to the bracing. I was really close. Yeah, perfect. I like that. I like that. Let's just get a test fit from the top. Goes right through nice and easy. Yeah, that's going to work nicely. Okay, so let's get our drill bits put away. I'm going to pause really quickly while I clean up a little bit and get ready for the next part of this operation. So, take a little pick, a 90-degree pick, stick it through the hole until it stops, hooks in the back. That's where the thing is going to stop, and kind of mark it with your thumb just to get an idea, and then measure it. I do millimeters. It's almost 2 centimeters. That'll give you an idea. So then you get your retainer nut with all of your washers. Where did my other washer go? Yeah. There's a washer and a lock washer. Actually, it should be lock washer and then metal washer. So the metal washer goes against the wood, and then the lock washer hits the metal washer. We got to go in a little bit more, I think. And this is hit and miss. You're going to try this a couple of times. If we hit it the first time, I'll be surprised. Right at 2 centimeters, right there, and then it's going to compress a little bit. Now, how do we get this thing through the hole and out here? Well, there's a tool for this, but I made my own. You take a 1/4 inch jack, which goes in there, and through the hole, grab it, pull it through. You want this end to stay out here, and there's the other end. And then what we do is we put our, and this is just a test fit. It's not going to live in there forever yet. And we want to try to keep our washers. The biggest pain in the butt about this little operation is keeping the washers in place, because you want them all to kind of stack up against the inside of the body of the guitar. So hold it as far as you can and then pull it through. Come on, dude. And did we make our hole not big enough? It's fitting really nicely before. No, it seems like that's where it's stopping. Yeah, see, I didn't go far enough. There's barely any thread showing through. Sorry, my head was in the way. So yeah, you pull it through like so, but not enough is coming through. So like I said, you got to adjust this. It takes a couple of tries to get where you want to be. Run your nut down a little bit more until you get enough to put another washer, a retaining nut, and your beauty ring. And this side. And a little bit more came through that time, but not quite enough. Not quite enough. Some more. I'm wondering if one of these washers isn't hanging up because it seems like there's an awful lot there. Maybe there's more wood there than I thought. It might be hitting something else. Not wanting to pull through all the way. Nope, there we go. Yeah, it's bottoming out. Now, is there going to be enough to put a washer, a nut, and the retainer? Nope. So we're on number 3, the third try. I would have guessed any amount of money. It would never have gone that far in, but we're running out of real estate. I'm sure my head is right in the way as usual. That is where we need to be. So from there, what do? Now you run your washer. You get your washer on there. Then you get your retainer nut. I should have checked what size the nut is before I put it on there. Yeah, I might have too much sticking through now, but we'll find out. Sometimes these retainer nuts don't want to go around my finagled up tool here. I know I have put nuts over this before. What's the problem? This nut's smaller. It does not want to go around my finagled up tool. Story of my life. Is there enough for me to hold it back here? There is. We can pull out our 1/4-inch jack. That's why I forgot. That's why I like our bags, because that thing is long enough that when I stick my hand through here, I can just barely grab it with the tips of my fingers and hold it in place while I get that on. Now, did we go too far? I don't think we went far enough, because when we put our jack in there, it's going to be sticking out. The threads should be right level with that beauty ring. Excuse me. So believe it or not, we didn't go far enough yet. Even after tightening it up, it isn't going to be enough. We're going to have to back it all the way out. Put our tool back in. Pull it out one more time. This is number 4. Where did my washers go? Tricky. It's tricky, and you got to almost be an octopus to do it. We're missing a washer. Probably with my luck, I'll end up pulling this through. There it is. Come on, you get it. Get all your washers lined up again. I'm burning a little bit of video time on this part of the process because it shows you that you have to try this over and over again until you get the length that you want. And get it to fit right with all the pieces that have to go on. Going through there. One more time. that going to be enough, or am I going to have to do it a 5th time? Beauty ring goes on, and it's flush. So, because when we tighten it down, it's going to go all the way. And the way we tighten it down is we don't just ream on it, because all we're doing is spinning the gear on the inside. So there's a tool for that. That little guy right there. That goes in there. You tighten it down, and what it does is it splays out. It splays out inside the 1/4 inch jack and tightens it. Then we can put some tension to this, and that tightens everything down, right? The last thing we got to do, though, is tighten up the nut. And then put the beauty ring on. Now, usually I had, and I can't find them anymore, a nice little set. I'm going to have to order a new set. I can't find them. I don't know where they went. Thin wrenches. Metric and standard. You're only going to use a couple. I mean, I use 10 and 13 and 12 the most. And that's usually what all of these are. So, today we're using a pair of needle nose because that's what I have. So this holds the 1/4 inch jack from the inside so that when you're turning the nut, it's not trying to turn the gear. Turn your whole output jack. Because all that does is twist wires. And then when you get it nice and snug and you're happy, put the beauty ring on. Should be just like that. Now when that is nice and snug, you put your beauty ring on. And your jack should be nice and flush on the outside. Like that, right there. Nice and flush. So when you plug your guitar cable in, your instrument cable, that's where it stops. It's not recessed in and it's not sticking out too far. You follow? This is just a beauty ring. Usually finger tight is enough, but I'm going to give it one turn with a pair of pliers. And that part of the operation is finito. The next part is to get this wire. This is actually our pickup. It has to go up through our drill hole, and that can be a real adventure finding it. Sometimes I'll tie a string onto it, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie a little string on it and try to pull it through. Our volume knob is there. I'm going to tape those over here out of the way because we're only dealing with that right now. Tricky. Sometimes I will tie a little piece of thread on this, run it through, find it, tie it to it, and then pull it through that way. And I'm going to take one attempt at it with my flashlight looking in there and see if I can see where it is. All right. There. And there, my friends, is our pickup. Sometimes you get lucky. That's going to sit right down in there, just like so. And after living in there with your saddle on it and string tension holding it in place, you want it flat. Now, guess here's the downside. Here's the caveat to adding one of these types of pickups in here. Is it's definitely going to raise our string action. So likely or not, more likely than not, I'm going to be grinding this saddle down to adjust for the probably, I'm going to say, 2 to 3/64 of measurement that's going to raise up our saddle. Yeah, but that's basically the operation. We have our jack in there, and we have the volume knob is here. That's going to stick underneath here. And the battery pack is here. Is going to go, we're going to put a battery in this thing and stick it up here underneath where right in front of the heel on the inside, so it's out of the way. And try to make sure that the wires run around that way. Sometimes you can get them to do that, sometimes you can't. If I can get a little piece of tape on it just to run them out of the way, we're golden. They should all run around this way. And usually again, I got lucky with that. Maybe I'll get lucky with that little operation too. So right now, I want to tighten up our beauty ring. Yeah, put a rag on it, because that's exactly what I said it is. It's a beauty ring. You don't need to have scratches on it. Just get a turn on it, and that's all you need, right? So I'm going to pause there while I figure out. Actually, you know what? We can test it. We can put a battery on it. I'm going to pause, go find a battery, and then we can tap test it. Plug it in, get it to an amp, and tap test it. Stand by. So beautiful. That's without it. That's with the amp. That's volume all the way up. You can even hear it. All it does is pick up vibration, which really is designed to catch. That's the volume all the way off. That's the volume on. And it's going to work even better once you get string tension on it. So we have a success now. All we have to do is button up all the little gear, get it out of the way. This stuff. Volume goes here, battery goes over there. Then we're going to go to cleaning the guitar. Stand by. Actually, I'm going to end this video here. It's a little long. Excuse me. We're going to come back and do a second video maybe tomorrow. This one's done. I'm going to move on to a different guitar. Got some work in the shop that needs to be done. It's Blackjack with 396 guitars. Thanks for hanging in there. We're putting a pickup in this acoustic guitar. We'll be back with part 2. Talk soon. Remember, if you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe.